Hello and welcome to this video. In this video we are going to be finding a class interval containing the median and the mode. Okay, so we're going to get started with the mode purely because it is easier than finding the median. So these are, on the left hand side, are class intervals. So class intervals. And then obviously on the right we have the frequency. Okay, so in order to find the mode, we've just got to remember what the mode is. Well, the mode is the most common value. So most common. So obviously if we have something like this, where we've got 2, 3, 3, 5, 7, 12, well, what's the most common number in that data? Well, obviously the mode there is 3. So the mode there is equal to 3. But obviously our data isn't like that. Our data has class intervals. So I'm just going to get rid of what I just wrote down there. So of course our data has class intervals. So how do we do that? Well, we know that the mode is the most common. So in order to find the class containing the mode, we just select the class interval with the highest frequency. So we look at all the class intervals and we see what the frequencies are. So is this first class interval between 0 and 10 the highest? No. Is this second? It is. So the mode, so we could write mode or class containing the mode, whichever you prefer. So the mode or class is 10, which is, or between 10 and 20, and obviously including 20. Now we have 3 questions where we're going to find the mode or class. So starting with this top right one. So we've got cost, and obviously these are the class intervals, and we have the frequency. So how did we find the mode? Well, we selected the class interval with the highest frequency. That is the mode or class. So the mode here is in the class with the highest frequency. Is this class? No. The next one? No. Not this one. It's this one here, between 12 and 16. So that interval there. Okay, what about this top right question? So mode, let's write that out again. Where we just select the class interval with the highest frequency. Is it this top class interval? No. Is it this one? No. It's this one here. The class that's between 10 and 15. Okay, and then final question. So we've got masses, and then we've got obviously the frequencies. So we select the class interval with the highest frequency, as we've been doing. So what class interval has the highest frequency there? Well, it's this one with a frequency of 12, so 65 to 70. I'm just going to draw that out again. That was a really bad 6, so 65 to 70. So the last thing that I want to consider for the mode and finding the modal class is, what about when there's no outright highest frequency? So in the table here we have obviously the times in our class intervals and then the frequencies. So we've got 6, 9, 9 and 3. So obviously there are in effect 2 highest frequencies. There's 9 and obviously the 9 that's here. So how do we find the modal class? Well, what we write is that there are in fact two modal classes. So the modal classes are in fact 50, or the one that's 50 to 55, and 55 to 60. So when there are two modal classes, this data is in fact called bimodal. Which is an interesting side point. Okay, so now we will be having a look at how to find the class containing the median. Okay, so now we're going to look at finding the class containing the median. Okay, right, so what is the median? So we need to remember what the median is. Well, it's sometimes called, and you've probably heard it called this, the middle value. So what does middle mean? It means halfway. So if we've got the data 3, 4, 7 and 10, and we'll say 12 as well. So what's the middle value here? What's the value that's halfway? Well, we'd cross them off, wouldn't we, until we got to the middle. And we'd find that 7 was our median for that data. So 7 is the median. Okay. But obviously, like with the mode, we now have class intervals. Right, so I'm just going to very quickly get rid of what I was talking about there. Just rub that off. So obviously our data now doesn't look like that because we've got the class intervals. So how are we going to work this out? Well, there's a few steps to it. The first step is add all the frequencies together. So we do 6 plus 7 plus 5 plus 1 plus 1. So add the frequencies. So sum of, I'm just going to write f for frequency. So the sum of f, and that is 20. Okay. And then what we do is we take that 20, so we halve the sum of the frequencies. So halving that means, well, half of 20, which is 10. So the median is the 10th value. The median isn't 10, it's the 10th value. So our job now is to find which class the 10th value lies in. Right, so what we do is we look at our data and we say, well, the first class has a frequency of 6. So we kind of start a running total. Then the second class has a frequency of 7, but if we sort of have this running total, 6 plus 7 is 13. And then we could keep adding to our running total. So 13 plus 5 is 18. And obviously we'll keep doing that, so 19. And then 20 for the last class interval. And then we just have to decide, well, where does 10 lie? Well, it couldn't have been in the first frequency because, or the first row, because we only had a frequency of 6. Then the second row went up to 13. So therefore our median must lie in this row here, which means that it lies in this class, which is the class between 10 and 20. So now we're going to have a look at some more examples. Okay, we're going to find the class containing the median for this data. So first step, we add our frequencies up. So if we do that, if we add them up, we've got 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 12 plus 3, and that adds up to 25. Therefore, our median is the 25 over 2, which is the 12.5th value. So the 12.5th value is the median. So we just need to establish which class interval that lies in. So again, we start our running total. So the frequency for the first is 2. Then we start this cumulative frequency essentially. That's 5. Then 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 12 is 22. 22 plus 3 is 25. Okay, so it couldn't be in this first class interval. Couldn't be in the second because that only goes as high as 5. Couldn't be in the third because that only goes as high as 10. But it could be in the fourth, and it isn't. Our median does lie in this fourth class interval because that goes all the way to a frequency of 22, so the 22nd value of that data. So therefore, the class containing the median, so the class containing the median is 12 to 60. Okay, so I'm going to finish with these two questions. So we're going to find the median, or the class that contains the median for both of these. Right, so get started on this left one. So first step, add the frequencies together. So 11 plus 37 plus 43 plus 9, that's 100. So therefore our median is halfway. Half of 100 is 50. So our median is the 50th value. So we need to find the class containing the 50th value. How do we do that? Well, we start our running total, so our cumulative frequency, so we've got 11 for the first, then 11 plus 37 is 48, then 48 plus 43 is 91, and then 91 plus 9 is 100. Okay, so is the 50th value in this first class? No, because there's only 11. Is it in the second? No, because there's only 48 values. Well, it goes as high as 48 values. Is it in the third? Well, it goes as high as 91, so it must be in this class interval here. So the class interval containing the median, so I'll just write this out. Class interval with the median is layers on is 10, between 10 and 15, so this class here. Okay, and then final question. So again, finding the class interval containing the median, add up the frequencies, so 3 plus 5 plus 10 plus 12 plus 10, and that is 40. So therefore our median is, well, the value of the median is half of that. So half of 40 is 20, so the median is the 20th value. Okay, how do we find the class interval with the 20th value? We start this running total. So there's 3 in the first, then 3 plus 5 is 8, 8 plus 10, 18, 8 plus 12, 30, 30 plus 10, 40. And then which class interval contains the 20th value? Well, it can't be the first because it only goes as high as 3 values. Can't be the second because it only goes as high as 8. Can't be the third because it only goes as high as 18. However, this interval here goes as high as 30, so therefore the class interval containing the median, so again, I'll just write this out, so class interval containing the median is the class interval containing the median is the class between 65 and 70. So this class